This is the best wilderness survival I've ever seen. First thing in the morning, I paint my teammates. Says he can catch a lot of fish or hunt for protein. This is the kind of bread girls eat for 10 days. Starving to day 21. This challenge takes place in the jungles of Colombia. Sunny is a beautiful 33-year-old girl. She and her fiancé are scheduled to be married tomorrow. But today I'm in the wild, because she's going to have a premarital fling. Steven is a 37-year-old young man. In this hostile environment, he felt very nervous. Can't wait to meet his teammates. Steven is a retired soldier. Had a lot of experience in the wild. Fans of past episodes know that. Ex-soldiers are less useful than a police dog. But it's true when they say they have faith in themselves. For their faith is a bread to eat. Sunny also likes outdoor sports. Go hiking once in a while or something. I learned a lot about being outside. I also ate a lot of wild fruits. Sunny thinks he's totally adapted to life in the wild anyway. The outdoor experience gave her great confidence. With so much faith, it's easier to take off your pants. After the two met, there was no simple pairing, but Sunny was very surprised when he saw Steven, because he's covered in red spots. Steven brought a machete. Sunny brought a mosquito net. There are also iron pots and fire sticks. They had to hike 5 kilometers to reach the water source. That's a long way off. Sunny thinks they should stay away from water, because there are a lot of mosquitoes. The Colombian wilderness has large areas of marshland. The vegetation is thick here. The leaves on the grass are as sharp as knives. It happens to be the rainy season.
Plus fréquent d'hommes pour.
Creates a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Everything is going to be very difficult for them here anyway. Of all the survival areas, the simplest is African survival. The hardest part is jungle survival. The jungle is no less wild than Africa. The only torture is the humidity and the blood-sucking zombies. They got to know each other as they walked. Steven just got married last week. Meet another woman now. And Sunny's even better. To get married tomorrow, and then to live in the wilderness with another man. Sometimes it's hard for me to understand how these high people convince their partners. You know, it's true that they're open-minded. The jungle roads are very difficult. If there is a strong player, I think we can eat good food in here. After they went through the jungle, came to the swampy area. This should be a paradise for most animals. They looked at the map and chose the location of the shelter. In the woods near the marsh. They're going to build a shelter here. Sunny agrees with Steven very much. Thinks he can decide anything for the team. The cooperation between them is very tacit. There was no disagreement like the other players. Sunny gathered wood to make a fire and boil water. Steven sees Lachiao on the grass. When Sunny went over there with the stick, the Lachiao is gone. Steven was in charge of building the shelter. Sunny was in charge of the fire and the water. It's good to have a fire stick. You can get a fire started with a kid. Just fill the pot with water without washing it. After boiling the water, Sunny couldn't wait to drink. The taste is very delicious. Steven also took a few gulps. Soon the sky began to rain heavily. They haven't even built a shelter at night. Roof can be without, but the net must be put up first. The rain became heavier and heavier in the evening. The two hid under mosquito nets. Sunny's on the bed. Steven sleeps underground. Such unfair treatment. That really killed me. Time to the next day. Sunny fertilized the grass early in the morning, and I picked up a lot of grass. She says this herbal tea is the most popular drink in Britain. I believe the English eat grass. She soaked a blade of grass in water, and then give Steven a try. It does feel good. He also experienced the pleasure of the English people in drinking this herbal tea. Sunny took a few gulps too. Today they decided to put the roof over the shelter. Sunny's primary concern is shelter. He didn't like sleeping on the floor last night. Steve decided to make the bed bigger. Then the roof structure of the shelter is covered with branches. Sunny collects a lot of palm leaves here. She took the palm leaves back to the shelter. This can be used to cover the roof to keep out the rain. After building the shelter, they put another canopy over the fire. The fire is so far away. It doesn't do anything to keep you warm. The shelter beds are made of wood. They spread hay over it. It'll make for a more comfortable night's sleep. Look at Steven already laid it. But when I asked Sunny to give it a try, he's got legs. How did the shelter bed get so small? Where's the stick in there? The bed looks like this. The bed is like this. This show is definitely fake. At night, Steven slept like a dead pig. Maybe the bed was too comfy. Time came to the third day. Steven is going out hunting this morning. Let's see if we can catch some fish. He came to the shore with his spear. It's kind of scary to see him covered in red spots. No wonder Sunny won't give him a hug at night. There could be stingrays or electric eels in the area. Steven wants to catch stingrays more than anything. Sunny's cleaning up the shelter. Perfect the sides of the shelter. Prevent perfection from being blown to sleep. Steven stands in the water and keeps watching, squatting in the water with a bag to catch fish. After a few hours of waiting, a trout swam by. You really got caught by this high guy. Sunny heard him, too. When he took out the fish this moment, I threw you a girl. A fish the size of a booger. Like a high guy. Sunny, who didn't know it, thought he had caught a big fish. Steven takes the fish back to the shelter and said there's fish soup tonight. Sunny wanted to reward him with blood right then and there. They put the fish on the leaves. in case it accidentally evaporates. Soon the fish was cooked. They can't wait to taste the fish. 3 little fish will clink glasses. It's like you didn't eat it. They believe the fish will provide protein and vitamins. Although it is a small fish, but they said they tasted beef, and it tastes really good. The 2 men are very proud of today's fishing success. Steven was bragging about himself. Time came to the 4th day. Sunny came to the shore to bring coconut fruit. She knew the nuts were edible. These palm fruits are rich in vitamin C. She had a plate full of them. This plate of palm fruit will feed them well. It looks like chocolate. Steven was the first to try it, and then he started bragging again. Steven felt his energy drain fast. You need to work every day. They are going to make traps to catch fish. Sunny collected some vines to use as rope. When she was sorting the vines, I accidentally got stung by a bee. Not as big as stoning her to death. Sunny was stung in the eye and chest. This looks like a hive of bees. It's actually a hive of bees. Sunny takes the vine back to the shelter. She told Steven about the sting. Good thing it's nothing serious. But Sunny wanted Steven to avenge her. To put it bluntly, he wanted Steven to die. Steven finally finished the fish frame, then just wrapped the vines around it. This fish basket looks simple. It's actually very troublesome. The effect of catching fish with a fish basket is very small. You might as well bring a hook and go fishing. Steven finally finished the fish basket. After the fish went in through the opening, I'm stuck and I can't get out. Make a fish basket. The theory goes on for 2 hours. Sunny was impatient to hear it. I want to jump up and slap Steven. He also said more baskets would be made to catch fish. The fish hasn't been caught yet. Sunny's gonna have his fill of flatbread, and vowed to make sure Sunny had a good meal. He went to the shore and picked up some palm fruit. It can be used as bait. Put the palm fruit in the fish basket, then came to the water with the fish basket in his arms. There are stingrays under the water. Be careful where you walk. Steve carefully lowered the fish basket into the water. I hope we catch some fish. At night, Sunny heard something rise in the water. She woke Steve up to check on him. Steve got up and turned up the fire. Accidentally set the canopy on fire. The 2 are trying to save the fire. Eventually, the fire burned down the canopy. Time came to the 5th day. They were very worried that last night's fire would burn the forest. If that's the case, then they may have food and drink for life. We're putting up a new canopy today. The cooperation between the 2. Put the canopy back up quickly. Today they are most looking forward to eating fish. Steve launch check. There are no fish in the fish basket. Sunny was thrown into a state of anxiety. No fish but Steven's protein. Steve shifted the fish basket. He saw a lot of fish near the shelter earlier, and put the fish basket under the tree. Soon the sky began to rain heavily. The 2 rested in the shelter. Even with the canopy, the fire was still wet. Fortunately, their shelter is more water resistant. 2 high people just sat in a shelter all day. Time came to the 6th day. I woke up in the morning and the neighborhood was wet. Collecting wood every day is Steven's first task. Now Sunny felt very cold. She wants to do a middle school radio exercise to warm up her body, but I seem to have forgotten a lot of the moves. It's up to Steve to help with the heating. Soon she clutched her chest and walked out. Steve was very worried about Sunny's health. He is very willing to help others. Sunny found animal footprints on the ground. A wild animal appeared near the shelter. At night, Sunny doesn't sleep while observing. She smelled something musky. Sunny guessed that a prey had appeared near the shelter. In fact, there was a monster in his bed. Steven shouted to drive it away. The time came to the 7th day. Yesterday, they were too scared to sleep. A mountain lion disturbed their sleep. The mountain lion kept trying to get to them last night. Good thing there's a fire in here. Otherwise, they would never have seen the sun today. Today, they decided to continue reinforcing the shelter. Cut some wood around it. It was a little after 1 a.m. 2 high people still haven't slept, afraid that the cougars would visit them again. Soon it was the 9th day. 2 high people wasting time in a shelter every day. You don't go out looking for food. Looks like another starvation game. Sunny also developed a lot of red spots. I think it was infected by Steven. Steven goes to check the fish basket every day, but nothing came of it. Been here 9 days, except for a few bites of palm fruit. I've been starving. I admire their ability to starve. Sunny was already giddy with hunger. Breathe deeply and constantly to adjust your state. Right now she's out of breath. Serves you right. You've been hungry for a long time, and you've been talking about Steven's protein. Steven was worried about her, too. Filled her with a tray of water. Now they both had red spots all over their bodies. It's not good to go home and get married. You had to come here to survive in the wilderness. Steve wanted to call the doctor, but Sunny turned it down. She says it's just a low heart rate. Wait until her temperature cools before you call the doctor. The time came to the 10th day. Sunny's condition has improved. The 2 sat in the shelter all morning blowing water. Every day Steve would draw some flatbread for Sunny to eat. Sunny always eats his fill. Steve, however, would only check the fish basket every day, because he can only expect this tool to find food. But there weren't any fish in it. In a heavenly position, I had to starve every day. Steve walked around the lake. I hope I can find some mangoes to eat. I don't see any mango trees. Why do you want to eat mango? The grass nearby is very beautiful. but there was no food. The grass here is taller than the others. There's actually a lot of leisho in there. Sunny boiled water and drank it every day at the shelter. She can do nothing but set fire to it. Steven has been out looking for wild fruit, but I searched for a long time and couldn't find it. He's in desperate need of protein anyway. Back at the shelter, tell Sunny we didn't find anything. He wants to cut off the mosquito net, then make a net to catch the fish, so he can go to the water every day to catch fish. Sunny is also very supportive of Steven's idea. We got a fire to keep us warm. Bed nets do not help much. Steven says there are hundreds of fish in the water. As long as there are fishing nets, make sure Sunny gets to eat hot and spicy every day. Sunny bought his story. Time came to the 11th day. They cut off their mosquito nets early that morning. Make a fishing net out of sticks. This is their last fishing tool. 2 men came into the water with mosquito nets. Is that how they're gonna fish? 2 people put mosquito nets into the water. And just wait. Pick it up when the fish comes in. It's obviously not working, right? But they keep trying here. This time some fish were finally caught, though they are small fish, but it also gave them protein. The 2 excitedly shouted in the water. It doesn't matter if you're small. As long as the quantity is full, you can poop. They wrapped the little fish in leaves, then put it on the fire. Catching the fish boosted Steve's morale. Soon the little fish was cooked. When I opened the leaves, shit took shape. Sunny scraped it all off his hands and smothered it. They were very satisfied with the grilled fish dinner today. It was really delicious. No sooner had dinner finished than it began to rain heavily. The 2 high men hurried back to the shelter. The thunder kept coming from the sky. The fire was wet with rain, but it didn't bother the 2 high guys. The heavy rain continued into the evening. Their shelter began to drip. Sunny is going to fix the roof first thing in the morning. Time came to day 12. They were cold all night yesterday. Make a fire to warm yourself at dawn. Everything around is wet. These 2 high rollers have survived on a fire. Sunny gets his energy from the sun. Yesterday with mosquito net, catch fish eat so happy. Why don't you try it today? Steve went to check the fish basket. An electric eel was seen on the shore. Sunny came at once with the spear, but a spear goes down. The fish didn't hit the spot. The water here is very cloudy. They can't see where the eels are going. Steve paints Sunny pancakes every morning. Eat your bread every day before you go to work. They still need half the time. Is it really okay for Sunny to eat flatbread every day? Steve cut down some branches. Decided to make some traps to catch birds. Because he wants a big chicken breast. Steve's working outside. Sunny makes his bed in the shelter. It fully embodies the division of labor and cooperation between men and women in ancient times. Steve stuck the branch in the ground, so close to the shelter. Why was he so sure that a bird would come here? Soon a bird trap was ready. Just hang the fish on it. The bird will cover it when it stands inside and eats. Here's what I don't understand. Why does the bird stand in the frame and eat the bait? Steve picked up the frame to find a suitable location. Sunny was busy at home, too. She catches fish on the shore with a mosquito net. Although the fish caught were small, but it's still the same. As long as the number is large enough to poop. Steven walks on the grass holding the frame. He had to pick a higher position. It's been a kilometer. He's going to keep holding on to the frame. There is less grass in this position. Steve decided to set up bird traps here. They replaced the fish with palm nuts. After the night, Steven decides to check the trap. Sunny in the shelter is starving for food. Colombia is very hot during the day. Walking miles back and forth can be very hot. The trap was triggered. Got a lizard in there. Steven was touched at once. He quickly took out the lizard with a machete. When he took the lizard back to the shelter, Sunny cried out in surprise. 2 high men flying excitedly. Sunny kept rewarding Steve. Steve's been drawing pancakes for a dozen days. Today it finally happens. They roast lizards on sticks. That's a lot of meat to waste in a stew. When Steve took his first bite of the roast, it felt instantly worth it. Every time after the big meal it started to rain. This weather is really speechless. Soon the rain began to pour down. They had to hide in the shelter. But today it feels good to be full. The time came to the 20th day. Tomorrow is the day of the evacuation. Just drink water for one more day today. When we get back, we can eat fried chicken burgers every day. For $100,000. These 2 high rollers have only eaten one meal in 21 days. You could say they hunt ability dishes. But the ability to starve is very strong. Lying in a shelter thinking about how to spend your money. Steve checks the fish basket for the last time today. He wants another meal of protein. It'll be easier to evacuate tomorrow. Steve took down the fish basket and didn't see any fish. Back at the shelter, he started making shoes. The shoes made of cane are very beautiful. If you print the Louis Vuitton logo, there must be a bunch of rich idiots out there trying to buy it. All of a sudden Sunny started crying. She felt like she was faint from hunger. Very worried about being able to evacuate tomorrow. Steve brought her a plate of water. Cook another plate if you don't have enough to drink. I think Sunny is scared of water. Follow Steve the high guy. Drink water every day. But the whole adjustment. Steve has been struggling to get food. And Sunny's been lying in the shelter. You can't blame Steve. You don't get to cry as a lying down winner. Time came to day 21. Today is the day to evacuate and get the money. They had to hike 15 kilometers to reach the evacuation point. For players who have been starving for 21 days, this is indeed a relatively big challenge. They smeared mud on their bodies, and off he went. Anyone who's seen the show knows that. There was nothing unexpected about the evacuation, although the process is very tiring. But we finally got to the extraction point. So who else is going to do it next time? Look forward to an update in the next video.